I gotta be honest, I'm more than a little concerned about the future of the Standard Range Plus Model 3. And I'm not going to make a long video long, I'm just gonna say it kind of up front. Obviously, I am very partial to this vehicle. I have made video after video after video talking about how much I love the Standard Range Plus. As someone who has owned this car for a year and a half, I just really love it. And I kind of think it's Tesla's best kept secret and almost the best Tesla vehicle for most people, which is still the case today. But after some recent and abrupt changes to the Model Y standard range version, I'm afraid the Standard Range Plus Model 3 might not be long for this world. So in this video, let me tell you why I think this car is so great, and why if you want to buy one, you might need to act fast. Now, when I originally did kind of the prep work for this video, I was kind of going off the idea of the price changes to the Standard Range Plus and why it was such a great car. It's now under $37,000, there could be more incentives coming, and there are just so many reasons why I think this car is so great and why it should be at the top of your list for consideration if you're looking to jump into Tesla or jump into an EV in general. But due to some recent changes with the Model Y, specifically the Standard Range model getting axed off the website, I'm a little afraid that the Standard Range Plus might be the next one to go for various reasons, which we'll get to in a second. But for right now, you should know that you should pay very close attention because it might be killed. Now, the Standard Range Model Y has sort of a different history and a different story. First, Tesla said they were going to do it, then they weren't going to do it, then they were going to do it again, and it was on sale. And at the time of this recording, we don't know the real story on why Tesla decided to take it off the website, or if it's intentional, or if it was a glitch. But it seems like Tesla just does not want to accept any more orders. You can no longer see it, you can no longer customize it. It looks like that's not going to be an option for one reason or another. And we can speculate as to why Tesla killed that car, or at least that specific model of the Model Y, but now I'm afraid that the Standard Range Plus could be next. So if you are considering buying a Tesla or buying an EV in general, let me kind of make the case for why I think the Standard Range Plus is the way to go. And this is from someone, again, who has owned the car for a year and a half. I like it a lot. Of course, it has its downsides, and we'll get into that. But let me make the case for why I think this is a great car, and maybe even Tesla's best kept secret and one of the best models you can buy. First off, it's hard to ignore the price. $36,990 is the current price for the base configuration of the Standard Range Plus right off of Tesla's website. Of course, it's going to vary on registration fees and dock fees and delivery and whatever other customizations you choose to make. But as a starting price tag, that is a very compelling offer and kind of puts the Standard Range Plus in a really nice price category. You could get a nice Honda for that price. You could get other EVs. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility for many people. It's not a luxury brand. You're not paying over $50,000 for it. It's really in a great price bracket that could get even better soon if we see the return of the federal tax credit and more incentives. But for now, even without any additional incentives, under $37,000 is still a great deal for this Tesla. The big reason why I love the Standard Range Plus so much is that I think it's just such a great compromise, giving you the things that are probably most important while still making some sacrifices on things that are not so important, at least not for most people. First, let me kind of clear up any confusion. We need to talk about range because that's like the most important thing with an electric vehicle. And with the Standard Range Plus, it is a single motor vehicle, so it's a rear wheel drive only, and you're getting a battery pack that has, at a full 100% charge, 263 miles of range. So this is an improvement over like the 240 that was the Standard Range Plus when I picked it up in 2019, and it was even better than some of the recent models we've seen as well, but is not going to be as much as the 310, 320, 340 of other EVs or other Teslas, even the long range Model 3 if you kind of want to compare apples to apples. So it might not be giving you as much range as those other vehicles, but also I don't think it matters so much because for this price you are sacrificing some range, yes, and you're not getting as big of a battery, but I also think that for many people that just doesn't matter. I've talked about it before. If you are someone who is working from home a lot these days, which many people are, or maybe you're someone like me who just doesn't do a lot of driving, or you do a lot of driving but you're okay stopping to charge, then it might be a compromise you're willing to make in order to save some money. I mean, the Standard Range Plus is $10,000 cheaper than the next version up, which is the long range model, which does have some more bells and whistles, but for many people, they'd rather have the $10,000 in their pocket and not have have as much range. Maybe they just don't need as much. Maybe they're willing to do a little bit more charging, especially if you charge at home. It's not a huge deal. And really, unless you are doing a lot of extended road trips and you really don't want to stop, or you're doing a lot of commuting back and forth every day with a lot of miles in between, then the 260 miles of range-ish is not bad at all for most people. And even if you charge that battery to 90% and you're getting, what is that, like 230, 240-ish miles, depending on your level of charge, that's going to be more than enough for your day-to-day tasks, running errands, going to work, stuff like that. I don't think this is a amount of range to be afraid of, and I think that the Standard Range Plus these days is giving you a lot of range to work with. You're getting the exact same interior materials, basically the exact same look. Nothing on the surface is different. That touchscreen is still the same size. It's still as premium. You're getting the exact same software features. There's no locked abilities that you have to pay for to get access to besides the rear heated seats, but that's another story. Software-wise and like as far as usage goes, the Standard Range Plus is the exact same car that you're going to get in other Model 3s. It can do all the things in terms of software that other cars can do. You're not missing out on any big features. You also have full access to the app. You can even buy full self-driving if you want to. I mean, hardware-wise and software-wise, this is basically the exact same car. You're not getting a less premium Tesla experience because you go for a standard range. The car doesn't look any different on the inside or outside. You're not missing out on the glass roof or the leather seats. Everything is exactly the same on the surface. So you're getting a super premium car for just shy of $37,000, even if you go with the base model. You get access to all of the software updates coming over the air from Tesla. You have access to premium connectivity, so you can stream things through your car's LTE connection, and it is just a really great experience to have. You also get a really good sound system in there that is not the same as the full premium interior sound system that you'd get in the long range or performance variants, but I do think it sounds really good. And besides having all the benefits of owning a Tesla, you also get the benefits of owning an EV. That means you can charge up at home. That means the instant torque. That means the super quiet ride. I mean, there is a lot to like about this car, especially for the price. You get all the software features. You get a really great looking car, the power of software updates. You have all the technology inside that just keeps getting better, and a car that you could really invest some money into now that could get way more technologically advanced and even drive itself later on down the road. I love that Tesla includes all of the Autopilot hardware inside, whether you buy full self-driving or not at the time of purchase, so you could take advantage of that later. And also, I guess a good time to mention that yes, Autopilot is included. So one of the best parts of owning a Tesla, Autopilot is included for kind of free, built into the price, basically, if you buy a Standard Range Plus. Okay, so if the Standard Range Plus is so great, then why isn't everyone flocking to buy it? What makes it the lower end Tesla? Well, there are a couple of difference makers here that separates the Standard Range Plus from the long range, and some things you're going to get for that extra $10,000 you miss out on if you go with the Standard Range Plus. First things first, of course, is battery size. You're getting a larger physical battery in a long range or performance Model 3 that is going to obviously result in more range. And that's kind of the rule of thumb, is you should be buying as much range as you can afford, because most of the time you'd rather be able to not need to use the range but have it than to be in a situation where you need the range and you don't have it, if that makes sense. So some people just really rely on more range, especially if you want to do a lot of road trips. Then just having a bigger battery is going to be beneficial. The long range and performance variants are also dual motor versions, which is going to be nice, and especially if you live in colder climates, and this extra kind of horsepower and extra all-wheel drive functionality is going to be very important, especially if you're in the snow. Though if you're in like Southern California and other kind of warmer climates, it's not as big of a deal. And probably the biggest thing for many are all the things that you get with the full premium interior. So again, if you didn't see on the website, Standard Range Plus is a partial premium interior. The long range and performance have the full premium interior. Basically, that means you get access to a higher end sound system, you get floor mats, you get better interior lighting, you get fog lamps, you get the rear heated seats available, kind of unlocked when you get the car, whereas on the Standard Range Plus you have to pay for it. A bunch of little things like that. Mostly creature comfort things, though some utilitarian things like floor mats and fog lights that I just don't know why Tesla seems to want to lock down and not put on all models. But besides the point of that, this is kind of the biggest things that really matter. I think for many people it's going to be that battery capacity, that they just need more range. But if you don't need that much range and you don't really care about the full sound system and stuff like that, then for $10,000 back in your pocket, the Standard Range Plus is not a bad deal at all. And there are some other minor differences. I'll link to a video up here that kind of goes through a full list of everything that's different between the Standard Range Plus and the Long Range and Performance. But to kind of give you my personal experience as someone who has owned a Standard Range Plus, the 2019 model, I really love the car. Yes, there are instances where I wish I had more range or I had paid for that full sound system, but besides that, there is not much I dislike about the car. Besides my own personal issues and experiences with problems on my own specific vehicle, as a whole, I really love the Standard Range Plus because what you save for that $10,000 I think is worth it. You get the full Tesla premium experience, you get Autopilot, you get all the perks of owning a Tesla, supercharger access, over-the-air software updates. I could go on and on. I think it is a fantastic value and a great entry in to the Tesla ecosystem and a great Model 3 that you should definitely consider, though right now that could be changing due to a number of different factors. Of course, this is all rumors and this is all speculation, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Model 3 Standard Range Plus did meet its demise. We did see the Standard Range version obviously get the axe of the Model 3 that was short-lived for this world, and now that we have the Standard Range Model Y gone as well, I'm starting to wonder what the fate of the Standard Range Plus is going to be. On one hand, if those federal tax incentives come back, the Standard Range Plus would get even cheaper, which would be great to see, but that also would mean that the long range Model 3 would get cheaper as well and kind of would fulfill that price difference for the most part, and they would no longer need to keep the Standard Range Plus around because they'd have the long range, one less version to have to manufacture, and it would just be easier just to kill that car and get rid of it. Also, there is a question of how many of the Standard Range Plus variants they're actually selling. We knew the Standard Range was sort of that off menu, that special item that not many people had. I think the Standard Range Plus, though it is on the website, it is the cheapest model. Maybe a lot of people aren't buying it. We just don't know. So maybe the demand is just not there to really keep this variant around. And honestly, what I'd love to see is for Tesla to keep the Standard Range Plus around, but to adopt something similar to the Model Y and other models. What I think Tesla could do is instead of having to make this whole different variant and produce and manufacture the Standard Range Plus and then the Long Range and Performance, I think they should just kind of make one model and just software lock some features. Because what if you got a basically long range dual motor Model 3? Yes, it was more expensive to produce, but you could sell it as a Standard Range Plus variant. You could software lock some features, then allow people to pay to unlock features if they wanted to. So I know, for example, many people who bought Standard Range Pluses right now would not have considered a long range version 2 years ago, but maybe now would be willing to pay $5,000 in order to unlock some more range. It does make a lot of sense for Tesla just to kind of mass produce basically one or two variants and then just software lock it down and allow people to pay to unlock different features. Basically, like they were doing with the Standard Range version, basically selling them a Standard Range Plus, but software locking features, software kind of locking down the capacity for the battery and the range and other hardware features that could be unlocked at a later date. That could be a great move for the Standard Range Plus that could keep it around, but could give owners an option in the future in order to upgrade some parts of it. So I'm a little conflicted when people ask me when to buy. Should you buy now or should you wait? Well, I think that if you really know you love the Standard Range Plus, you're willing to commit and you're kind of ready to jump in, then now is probably a great time to buy and place your order. But if you're on the fence, you could either win or lose, because on one hand, the federal tax credit could come back and that Model 3 Standard Range Plus could get slashed in price once again, or we could see Tesla kind of follow the lead of the Model Y Standard Range and kill that variant altogether. So you're kind of running a risk. So if you know you want to commit and you want to jump into it at the price, I'd say go for it now. Otherwise, if you wait, you have a good shot of probably saving some money, though you are taking a gamble because the Standard Range Model Y just had a really quick demise and it was just off the website like that. So that could happen to the Standard Range Plus without warning, though I'm not sure what Tesla is going to do with that model or how they're going to play their cards. Just know that that is a possibility. So what do you guys think of the Standard Range Plus? Do you agree with me? Do you think it's a great option, a great value, a really great offering for the price, and it kind of makes the necessary compromises in order to give you the best of the Tesla universe without taking too much away from other models? Or do you think you need to go long range? That's the only model people should be considering, and you should never consider just a single motor stripped down version of the Tesla. You should just go with the other models. Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you in the next one.